I'm Sophia Bennett, a science teacher specializing in biology and chemistry, and I live in Yellow Springs, Ohio. I've always strived to approach my work with honesty and a critical eye. But everything changed for me a few months ago when I experienced something profoundly life-altering. It was an ordinary Saturday morning. I was out for my usual jog, enjoying the fresh air, when out of nowhere, a sharp pain seized my chest. I collapsed right there, completely unexpectedly. It turns out, I had a serious heart attack stemming from a birth defect that had gone unnoticed all my life. In what felt like no time at all, I found myself floating above my body. I watched as paramedics worked frantically to revive me, but I was enveloped in a strange, calm, nearly peaceful. Then, it happened. I shot through a dark tunnel, racing towards this blinding, brilliant light. It's a familiar tale for those who've had near-death experiences. Once I burst out of the tunnel, I was awestruck. I entered a breathtaking paradise, filled with vibrant flowers and colors that seemed to defy imagination. The air was alive with enchanting music, and an overwhelming wave of love wrapped around me. Suddenly, my grandmother appeared. She had passed away when I was a teenager, and there she stood, looking radiant and youthful. She embraced me warmly and shared how proud she was of the person I had become. With gentle words, she reassured me that my life wasn't over yet and that I had important work to do back on Earth. Just then, something captured her attention, and she took my hand tightly. In a flash, we were in a vast stadium-like place. That's when I met Jesus. It's hard to describe, but his aura radiated love and kindness, and standing near him felt incredibly comforting. With a soft smile, he indicated that he had something significant to share with me. As he waved his hand, the scenery transformed, revealing many souls around us. Jesus explained that we were in the third heaven, a peaceful resting area for those who had recently passed. It was organized into different sections. I noticed some souls in a tranquil spot, and Jesus told me those were individuals who had lived good lives. They were in a haven, waiting for their final resurrection. On the other hand, I saw other souls in a different area who seemed to be engaged in learning and growth. In a shadowy world where restless spirits lingered, Jesus conveyed a profound truth. These souls were still on a journey of spiritual growth before they could move on to higher realms. He spoke with a weighty compassion about how these individuals had once turned away from love and the good things in life during their time on Earth. While they weren't suffering in the traditional sense, they found themselves distant from the light and love of God. However, there was a glimmer of hope. He reassured them that at the culmination of their journey, they would be presented with a choice for renewal. This realm, often referred to as the third heaven, served as a temporary haven, a sort of layover on the eternal voyage that follows earthly existence. Immediately upon passing, souls would arrive here. It's a space for reflection, for learning, and for preparation for what lies ahead. Those who had lived virtuously experienced a taste of joy and peace, while others, even those ensnared by the shadows of their past, found it to be a chance to turn toward the light and seek salvation. During my encounter in this unexpected place, I came across my childhood best friend who had lost her battle with cancer while we were in college. She radiated happiness and tranquility in an area meant for growth. It was clear she was working on forgiving herself and moving beyond regrets of the past. Not far from her, I noticed a cousin of mine grappling with addiction. Although he sat in a sorrowful corner, gentle angels reached out to him with support and encouragement. His words resonated deeply. No one, no matter how lost they seem, is without hope. He sent me back with a vital message. He expressed sorrow over how many individuals regard death with fear or view it as a void, as if nothing continues beyond it. His plea was clear. Share the truth that life encompasses so much more and that death is merely a passage to ongoing growth. He underscored the importance of living with kindness, prioritizing love over hate, and embracing forgiveness, choices that shape our lives profoundly. As I absorbed these revelations, Jesus reminded me that my mission on earth remained crucial. He assured me that my time hadn't yet come and urged me to relay these experiences as a beacon of hope for others. After exchanging a final warm hug with my grandma, I raced back through the tunnel, heart racing. Just when I thought I might lose consciousness, the the rescuers brought me back with a defibrillator. Later, I discovered that I had been gone for quite some time, over several minutes to be exact. This journey has completely reshaped my perspective. Death no longer strikes fear in my heart. Instead, I see it as a doorway to something truly remarkable, which has deepened my appreciation for this life in ways I never imagined. Imagine a reality where love and personal growth guide our everyday interactions. Lately, I've noticed a shift within me. I'm genuinely invested in the well-being of others, more than I ever was before. These days, I make a conscious effort to be gentler and kinder, constantly reminding myself that everyone I meet is navigating their own unique journey. I try to look at them through a lens of unconditional love, envisioning how Jesus might perceive them and hoping to inspire them to discover their true potential. One key insight stands out. Our choices in this life profoundly affect our souls and shape our experiences after we leave this world. It's less about following strict religious doctrines and more about cultivating love, wisdom, and kindness. When we opt for forgiveness instead of holding grudges, kindness instead of selfishness, or courage rather than fear, we draw ourselves closer to that divine love that embodies life itself. Those choices don't only influence our outside circumstances, they also transform who we are at our essence as eternal beings. I see souls who have dedicated their time to embracing love and acquiring wisdom. They aren't perfect, but are constantly striving for betterment while treating others with dignity. Conversely, some souls are still learning. They are fundamentally good, but face their hurdles. Perhaps they grappled with letting go of past grievances or favored material wealth over genuine connections. The desire for growth shines through them. Yet let's not forget about the souls caught in darker places, who often lived selfishly or exhibited unkind behavior. But here's the good news. There's no ultimate condemnation for them. I witnessed angels and more evolved souls tirelessly working to reveal the divine love that lies dormant within those individuals. This reinforces a powerful message of hope. Nobody is beyond redemption. Each of us carries a sacred spark, even those dwelling in shadows, and they always have the option to seek the light. What's beautiful is that love is unwavering. It never forsakes anyone, even when the journey appears longer for some. I know this might sound a bit out there, especially coming from someone who teaches science. Honestly, I'd have found it hard to believe too if I hadn't lived it myself. You know, it's interesting how some people, including friends and family, throw around ideas like it was just a vivid dream or maybe a sign of my brain not getting enough oxygen. But let me tell you, what I experienced was as real as it gets, more genuine than any other moment in my life. Love, hope, and the belief that our consciousness persists beyond this life are so powerful. They deserve to be shared, even if not everyone is on board with such ideas. I'd really be interested in hearing about your own experiences too. Jesus told me that heaven has multiple levels or layers, and he specifically mentioned that what I encountered was the third heaven. This place is like the first stop for souls after they leave Earth, which is a pretty comforting thought. What's even more intriguing is that he described realms beyond this one, each more breathtaking than the last. Later on, as I explored my own experiences further, I learned about the Book of Enoch. It's one of those texts that aren't found in the Bible but is respected in some religious circles. In it, Enoch describes being taken through 10 different realms. Jesus shared with me that there truly are countless heavenly spaces, each created to support the spiritual growth of souls in unique ways. One memory that stands out is the tranquil garden I found in that third heaven. It was simply stunning. It's tough to find the right words to capture it. Imagine the most exquisite garden you can picture, alive with color and vibrancy. Jesus likened it to Eden or paradise. In the middle of this garden, there was a tree he called the Tree of Life, and it meant a lot to him. I've never seen anything like it. It seemed to glow from within, and its fruits sparkled as if crafted from gold and precious stones. Jesus told me that this tree offers spiritual nourishment to souls residing there. Looking back, I also ventured through some of the darker areas of that world. There were pockets where I really felt a chill and an overwhelming darkness. I encountered souls who seemed to be lost or in distress, wandering around aimlessly. Jesus explained that these were once people from Earth who had turned away from love and light. But he made it clear that this wasn't hell like many think of it. It's not a place of eternal suffering. Instead, these souls had made choices that led them to that condition, informed by their actions and thoughts during their lives. Yet, even in those gloomy spots, there was an air of hope. Angels and more enlightened souls were actively working to guide these wandering spirits back toward the light. Jesus shared profound insights about the behaviors that drag people into darker realms, which resonate with the teachings found in the Book of Enoch. He highlighted actions like dishonoring God, engaging in deceit, practicing sorcery, and taking advantage of the vulnerable. Importantly, he mentioned that illustrating the consequences of one's actions isn't about punishment. It's a completely different perspective than what many typically think. In my discussions with him, I began to understand that judgment isn't about a deity imposing penalties. Instead, it's a chance for us to gain more self-awareness. When we pass from this life, we undergo a review of our existence, reflecting on the choices we've made and how they've affected us and others. Imagine all those moments coming into clear view, revealing not just the outcomes for ourselves, but also for everyone we've touched. It's a powerful moment, especially for those who have lived with love and compassion. But for others who may have inflicted harm, confronting this reality can feel overwhelming. Still, the focus isn't on punishment, it's on healing and growth. In one of the visions Jesus showed me, I saw a beautiful realm that lies between what Enoch called corruptibility and incorruptibility. It's a place where individuals shed their earthly imperfections, seeking a pure spiritual existence. This journey isn't instantaneous. It requires time as souls learn and undergo transformation. One of the most striking images I encountered was of the flowering trees Enoch praised. Their aroma was truly enchanting. Jesus drew my attention to two streams, one abundant with milk and honey, and the other flowing with oil and wine. These weren't just mere substances, they symbolized spiritual nourishment and healing for the inhabitants of that place. I also caught sight of the burning river mentioned by Enoch. Jesus reassured me that this fire wasn't there for punishment, but rather for purification. Souls willingly immerse themselves in it to rid themselves of negativity, striving to attain a pure essence. There was a remarkable location, too, that Enoch referred to as the resting place of the Lord when he ascends into paradise. The experience was mind-blowing, filled with a divine presence so profound that words can hardly do it justice. It matched Enoch's vivid descriptions, overflowing with goodness and an indescribable fragrance. Yet I couldn't ignore the deep darkness that Enoch described, a place reserved for souls that have strayed toward evil. Sophia Bennett was given insight that the states we find ourselves in aren't permanent fixtures of punishment. Instead, she learned that the vision she received regarding the third heaven is more of a transitional phase. When she pressed for details about the ultimate judgment, she found out from Jesus that there will be a day when every soul will rise for an eternal reckoning. Yet, far from the gloomy depiction of a courtroom, this experience will be about clarity and understanding. Each person will grasp the full impact of their actions and decisions. In that defining moment, every soul will encounter the very core of divine love. This presents them with a choice: to accept that love and strive for even greater realms of joy. It's quite intriguing to think about how love and personal growth can lead some to one path while keeping others seemingly distant. The way divine justice and the afterlife unfold might not match what many picture. The simple fact remains that God doesn't push anyone into suffering. Rather, people can choose to turn away from love and light. However, no matter how far they wander, there's always a chance to recalibrate their journey, even if returning proves to be challenging. We have the inherent freedom to make our own decisions. God's love is constantly around us, aiming to foster our joy and personal evolution, but it never forces itself upon us. At this point, I wasn't shown those elevated spaces. In truth, I was informed that grasping them could feel overwhelming. Yet beyond our current reality lies a world bursting with beauty and creativity, a realm filled with love and shared by those whose hearts beat in harmony with divine compassion. He went on to describe how these enlightened beings evolve and often take on roles that assist in guiding and safeguarding others. what we might label as angels. Some of these entities even participate in the creation of new worlds and life. Ultimately, the goal is for every spirit to fully recognize its inherent divinity and contribute to the world's flourishing through love. Over the years, he has manifested in various forms to many, always with the purpose of awakening them to the truth of divine love. With a mixture of sadness and compassionate understanding, he explained how confusion often arises when individuals mistake the finger that points to the moon for the moon itself. This disconnect commonly happens when people hold too tightly to their religious beliefs, losing sight of the deeper love that those beliefs are meant to illuminate. Imagine you're in a conversation about faith, where the focus shifts toward the misuse of religion for power. It's fascinating to think about how a truly devout person, caught up in using their beliefs for their own gain, can drift further from spiritual truth than those who identify as honest atheists. The message that stands out is one that transcends any specific faith. Love is a timeless principle that unifies us. Someone once shared a thought that stuck with me. When you meet someone, treat them like they're the most important person in that moment. It makes you realize the significance of every interaction in our lives. However, it's been eye-opening for me to see how many of my peers, instead of embodying love and forgiveness, get tied up in political power struggles, losing sight of the core teachings that promote compassion and understanding. Along my journey, I've learned something vital about what comes after this life. The fear I once had has transformed. I no longer view it as an end. Instead, I perceive it as a beautiful transition into a realm beyond our imagination. Sure, the dying process can stir deep emotions and may be uncomfortable, but it only deepens my gratitude for the here and now. With our time being so finite, every moment and interaction is infused with meaning. I'm driven to fully experience life, loving passionately, continuously learning, and working toward making a positive impact. There's so much to embrace. A question I often hear revolves around our pets and what happens to them after they pass. I'm happy to say I've had experiences that reassure me. I've seen animals in the afterlife. Every soul is sacred, and as Jesus emphasized, the spirits of animals continue to exist beyond their earthly journey. And let's not overlook the idea of spiritual forces that can distort our understanding, often tagged as demons or dark entities. It's a reminder that light will always overcome darkness, with love acting as the ultimate redeemer for our deepest struggles. It's all tied together by a message that encompasses love for God and our fellow beings, reaching everyone in this vast world. Exciting times are ahead, but I'm equally dedicated to cherishing each moment along the way. Their emotional growth might not align with ours, but in the afterlife, they unquestionably experience joy and love. I must say, reuniting with my childhood dog was pure magic. Seeing him again brought a wave of happiness and unfiltered affection. It opened my eyes to the timeless bonds we share, transcending just human connections. I observed countless heartwarming reunions among those who had departed, and the love that flourished between souls in that place is truly remarkable. It exists without fear or ego, resonating in ways that surpass anything we encounter here. Learning from Christ about soul connections is intriguing. It's not just about one perfect partner. We're intricately tied to a network of spirits throughout many lifetimes. Our relationships span across various forms: partners, family, friends, and even brief acquaintances who leave an imprint on our hearts. Often, groups of souls reunite repeatedly, supporting one another's growth and learning. Sometimes they even take on new roles to challenge and uplift each other in their shared experiences. Think about all the different people in our lives: your friend, child, parent, or even someone you might clash with. Each relationship teaches us unique lessons about love. Over time, we begin to see the broader picture, gaining insights into why we connected with certain individuals during our time on earth. Jesus once referred to this existence as a particularly tough school, a special place where our trials and relationships can lead to remarkable personal growth that simply isn't available in the spiritual world. He explained that souls always have the freedom to grow and assist in various ways if they choose. Earth acts as a crucible for our essence, delivering intense experiences that shape our spiritual evolution. Our main mission here is to nurture a more profound and thoughtful form of love. It's about breaking through the illusion of being separate and recognizing our divine essence. He shared with me that the hardships we face on this planet aren't punishments. They're precious chances for growth. Each challenge brings a choice: to choose love over fear, healing over anger, and courage instead of complacency. The decisions we make shape our minds in significant ways. One of the key points that Sophia Bennett highlighted was the importance of free will. Instead of creating beings that instinctively loved and obeyed, God chose to give us the gift of making our own choices. This allows us to genuinely select love amidst a world filled with trials and tribulations. It's an interesting perspective that could really change how we perceive the challenges in life. Wouldn't you agree? Now, let's not forget that Sophia was deeply aware of the pain in the world. Her capacity for compassion was truly remarkable. She made it clear that even the toughest experiences can somehow lead to positive transformations if we face them with courage and an open heart. Plus, she reassured me that we're never really alone when we go through difficult times. There are always protective guardian angels, spiritual guides, and wise souls nearby, ready to lend a hand even if we can't see them. During our conversation, I also learned about a variety of magnificent angelic beings. They radiated vivid light and love. Some looked like the traditional angels we picture, while others were more abstract, appearing as colorful beams of light swirling in mesmerizing patterns. Sophia described a grand assembly of these spiritual entities, each with a special purpose in the universe. Some focus on different aspects of reality, working to maintain harmony and provide support for everyone. Imagine stepping into a realm where individual souls are embraced and guided. Some of these beings work on a small scale, while others extend their influence in ways we can barely comprehend. I caught fleeting glimpses of distant dimensions that seemed completely otherworldly. Sophia explained that life is abundant throughout the cosmos, often in forms that challenge our understanding. She was clear that as souls progress, they gain the opportunity to explore diverse realms and experiences. Intrigued, I couldn't help but ask her about extraterrestrial visitors to our planet. To my astonishment, she affirmed that it's true. Beings from other planets have indeed encountered us before. Some came with positive intentions, others were neutral, and a minority had questionable motives. Yet, she emphasized that real spiritual growth must come from within ourselves. No matter what outside influences we encounter, they can't replace our unique journey. As advances in technology and faith continue, communication between different cultures will become much easier, she assured me. Imagine a future where humanity thrives, but there's a catch. It all hinges on how we've grown spiritually before we can nurture those relationships. The vision he shared of tomorrow was one of fluidity and endless possibilities. Our collective choices will shape the path we take. At this moment, we find ourselves at a crucial crossroads. We can work towards a peaceful world where everyone flourishes, or we can choose to tread a destructive path that leads us to calamity. The power to decide rests in our hands. He also talked about how a grand spiritual awakening awaits all of us. Still, whether that journey is smooth or challenging is tied to what we do today. His words resonated deeply, reminding me that our primary mission is to cultivate our spiritual development and spread love daily. Every small act of kindness, each choice to forgive, and our stand for justice all play a role in humanity's progress. Additionally, there was a heartfelt reminder to appreciate our wondrous planet. He described Earth as vibrant and alive, possessing its own spirit. How we treat it has profound spiritual consequences. This notion particularly touched me, as I realized our thoughts, actions, and words create ripples across the vast web of existence. It emphasizes our duty in how we navigate our lives, a realization that harmonized beautifully with my scientific background. After everything I've experienced, my viewpoint has really shifted. I still acknowledge the necessity of the scientific method and critical thinking. They're essential tools, no doubt. However, I aim to ignite curiosity in my students. It's so important for them to accept ideas that extend beyond what science can explain. I always push them to challenge everything, including their own beliefs. It's truly fascinating how we can explore the marvels of our world with a blend of skepticism and open-mindedness. Countless distinguished thinkers throughout history have embraced both science and spirituality, believing that their endeavors drew them closer to understanding divine mysteries. What I stress is that science and faith can coexist harmoniously. They enrich our understanding of this incredible existence. I totally understand the skepticism many have. I used to share those doubts myself. Yet, to grasp these concepts fully, experiencing them personally is crucial. Recently, there's been a surge in interest surrounding near-death experiences. People have been sharing astonishing revelations from those fleeting moments when their hearts cease to beat. What really captures my attention, though, is how these experiences tend to transform lives. Many individuals return from such encounters with a deeper sense of empathy, a reduction in self-centeredness, and a newfound ease when it comes to the concept of death. It's incredible to see that no matter what beliefs they held before, numerous folks decide to make impactful positive changes, focusing on uplifting those around them. Now, consider this. If these experiences were simply tricks of a deteriorating mind, wouldn't their effects be short-lived? The lasting goodness that follows is what really makes one think. I've come to understand that each person's journey is unique, leading them to their own insights. It's perfectly fine if my perspective doesn't resonate with everyone. I share my thoughts in the hope that they might inspire others to ponder the broader possibilities of existence beyond our limited senses. At the heart of this message is a reminder that you are incredibly cherished. Each one of us is an eternal soul, brimming with value and potential. Your significance isn't just recognized, it's at the core of all personal growth, irrespective of your history. Life offers an extraordinary chance, so embrace it fully. Love deeply, pursue knowledge unceasingly, forgive easily, and extend your hand to those in need as often as you can. It's also vital to face your fears and work through your past wounds. Growth stems from this process. Keep in mind that death isn't the end. It's really the gateway to an even more magnificent experience than we can imagine. Let's not allow fear to prevent us from engaging with this reality. Life is such a captivating journey, and the decisions we make echo through eternity. It's crucial to maintain faith in life's process. Remember, growth is ongoing, and even during the most challenging times, you're far from alone on this path. Hope is always present, no matter how lost you might feel. There's always a route back to love. I truly appreciate being able to share my story with you, and I sincerely hope it offers comfort, inspiration, and new ideas to your community in Yellow Springs, Ohio.